This video is on cymbals. Today we're going to talk about the types of cymbals, the parts of a cymbal, and the proper way to mount a cymbal so that it stays intact when you hit it. So the general parts of a cymbal are the bell, which is the raised area in the center. You can see it on profile. It's also sometimes called the cup. Then there is the middle part of the cymbal, which is called the body, the bow, or the arch, which is between the edge of the bell and a couple inches from the edge. And then you have just the straight up edge of the cymbal, which is just the outermost rim. Basically, you can play on the bell, body, or the edge depending on the type of cymbal for different effects. So we'll start with the ride cymbal. This is the largest cymbal. It can run anywhere from 18 inches and up. This is a 20-inch model. They're typically pretty thick, pretty solid. They're meant to be played on the body and on the bell, not really to be crashed. Some can be crashed, but a lot of them, like this one, don't sound very good when crashed on the edge. Next up, I have a crash cymbal. So a crash cymbal can be played on the body, but it typically doesn't sound very good. As you would expect, they're mainly good to be hit on the edge in a crashing fashion. Sometimes you can play the bell, sometimes it doesn't sound very good, depends on the model. These run anywhere from about 14 to 20 inches, typically being more like 16 or 18. This is an 18. They're anywhere from super thick and high-pitched to super thin and kind of washy, and this is one of your main workhorse cymbals. All right, and here we have a splash cymbal. So splash cymbals are a lot like crash cymbals, except we're talking even smaller. They run anywhere from 6 inches to 10 to 12 inches. This one happens to be a 10-inch. You can pretty much only crash them on the side. They sound terrible on the body, they have almost no bell to hit, and it doesn't sound that different than the rest of it. Now we'll look at something a little different. This is a China cymbal, or Chinese. The thing you can tell about it right off is that it comes down from the bell and then swoops up on the edge. That recurve, where it goes back on itself, is what distinguishes it from all other types of cymbals. It really shortens the sound down. So I have it on the stand what would be considered right side up, except that it'll really chop your sticks up. So most people actually put them on the stands upside down so that the sharp edge isn't contacting your stick. I've seen people play them on the inside. It's really rare. The bell is inverted, so that's almost never going to get played. They really sound the best when you crash them on the edge. They can run anywhere from 6 or 8 inches all the way up to 20 plus. Here we have a pair of hi-hat cymbals. Hi-hat cymbals always come in pairs, and they can be stepped on with a pedal to create sound. They can also be hit on the edge or on the main body or on the bell with your foot either on or off the pedal. So this is probably the most versatile of all cymbals in that you have a lot of options of how you can play it. These generally range from 12 inches to 15 inches like this set here. Cymbals are always mounted through the center hole here. They should always be mounted on a stand that has a few different things. It should have a plastic sleeve covering the threads on the stand. It should have a bottom felt. You apply the cymbal. You should have a top felt, and you should have a wing nut or some other mechanism to keep it on there. They make some quick release ones. But if you don't have all of these pieces, you are damaging the middle of your cymbal when you put it on a stand. The other thing about cymbals, you don't want to put them on too tight. Even with the wing nut screwed all the way down, this cymbal still moves a lot. That's also important for not damaging the cymbal, in that if you crank it all the way down and you hit it, that energy is going to go right to the center hole and it's going to crack. And you want your cymbals to last a long time, so just let them vibrate, the shock goes through, and they're going to last you a good long while. Cymbals are typically made of bronze, which is an alloy of copper and other metals like nickel or tin. Now, there are a couple things you can do to make cymbals. You can forge them or you can stamp them. Typically, the more expensive, better sounding cymbals, in most cases, are forged, which means that hot liquid is poured into a mold. And the stamped cymbals are usually the lower end. They're literally pounded out of a big sheet of bronze. Once it's either forged or stamped, you get a cymbal shape, but you still have to make it sound good. So you can tell this cymbal, there are a lot of concentric circles in the surface of the cymbal, and that's because they actually lathed it. They put it on a spinning machine, took a cutting tool, and put grooves all the way through it. They can also be hammered. Looking at the underside of this cymbal, you can clearly see the radial pattern where it has been hammered. And the hammering just affects the timbre of the cymbal, the sound of its decay, by interrupting the vibrations as they go through. And they can be hammered in many different ways to achieve different effects.